freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your DFS preview for this week's Phoenix Open. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Hey, Greg.
What's up, Rick? Looking forward to Phoenix Open this week. It's always a really fun event. Good time of year with the Super Bowl going on. Saturday is mayhem, and we get some crazy finishes at this event. I mean, it's a very underrated finish to the golf course. I think it's one of the best closing stretches of golf we get to see. So, start to finish, you're going to have some excitement out here this week.
Yeah, we've had a lot of excitement. We kind of unknowingly, but also knowingly did the Pebble Beach recap episode on Saturday last week. Though no more golf was played. Those results, of course, became official. They're being reflected in, all the stats and all the information moving forward. But 54 holes, a lot of water, and Wyndham Clark is your champion.
Yes, which was wild stuff because he didn't really play. He played one great round. That's what happens when you have 54 holes. That tournament would have been a completely different story if 4 rounds could have been played. Because Wyndham Clark he even said it afterwards in some of his media. It kind of felt like I won the tournament after the way I was paraded around and in the booth, talking on the broadcast, like all that stuff kind of felt like I had just won. I really had just broken a course record. So it was pretty crazy. We had a pretty good idea that was going to happen. Yeah. But it is a little anticlimactic, it's unfortunate for sure that it had to end that way.
We don't get a chance often, but just we nailed the forecast. Like how we knew there was no chance that they were going to end up playing that. A saturated golf course getting 4 more inches of rain does not end well for anybody. I think that we should be meteorologists in training.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I mean, we could be wrong with the best of them. I mean, our job is kind of like, in a lot of ways, kind of like a meteorologist, right? We make a lot of predictions based on a lot of data, and we're wrong quite a bit.
That's right.
So we kind of are meteorologists in training.
I love it. Okay, well, let's turn our attention to the Phoenix Open for this week. TPC Scottsdale. Troy, if you want to share my screen, I've got the scorecard up here. We'll go through the key stats and all this other fun stuff. But I'm just happy, Greg, to have the same course for 4 rounds with ShotLink on it. We have now entered just my time of year. This is the best.
Yes. Oh, you're preaching to the choir. 4 rounds, same tournament with ShotLink on it. I couldn't have said it any better myself, so I had to say exactly what you said again. But again, I want to reiterate, this back 9, this golf course is awesome. And it is a nice blend of difficult holes,
yes,
scoreable holes, reachable par 5s, a drivable par 4 17th hole that is just so well designed. So much can happen in this closing stretch. At 18, which is not an easy hole, but it's very birdieable. Also very bogeyable. So we have this kind of nice mix between a shootout. You'll see plenty of birdies, but you'll see some challenge and difficulties and penalty shots, and you'll see mistakes as well. So this is a really nice balance, a really good setup for a PGA Tour event.
I was looking at this a little bit earlier in the week. The back 9 has the 3 most difficult holes on it, and it has 4 of the 6 easiest holes on it. So there is a chance that you get on a run in a good way. Brooks Koepka coming out of nowhere, winning this golf tournament. There's a chance you get on a bad a run in the wrong way. There's just a lot of opportunity here, Greg, which is why I would like to have the Phoenix Open in February and the match play major held here in, let's call it, I don't know, October.
Oh, could be very cool. A match play event here would be sweet.
Be awesome.
And look, a stroke play event here is sweet as well. You think about some of these tee shots that players face. I think of 11 really difficult tee shot, water up the left-hand side. You got to work the ball away from the water. And we've seen players, hate to bring it up, but like James Hahn going on a run and making a mess here. Because if you hit it away from the water, you can get penalized again. 13 is a really good tee shot. 15 on that second shot into a big island, but an island green with water all around it. And 17, where you're going for the green with a 3-wood or a driver, you got water up the left-hand side. We've seen that penalize Spieth before, and many other players as well. So some really cool shots with a lot on the line where you got to step up and take it on. And then once you get past some of those shots, you do have opportunities to make birdies, but you got to earn them. And I think that's really cool, and one of the reasons why it's so exciting.
After a week of some people trying to get one over on sports books, some more successfully than others, James Hahn was the other one I really caught the book sleeping on and tried to get one over on them, and that was unsuccessful. That was James Hahn stepping on 10T with like a 3-shot lead and just evaporating.
This is the thing about the books. When you play with the books, the odds are not in your favor.
Real quick, I'll get to the key stats because I think they're important. Can you see this logo here? The WM logo. I don't know if it's big enough.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what that logo is? What that is supposed to represent?
Is it a flame?
No. Not that I'm aware. Okay.
I don't know.
So I thought for the longest time it was a trash can. I don't know.
Makes sense.
Waste, right? Like waste management. That is the outline of the stadium at 16.
Oh, wow.
Which is like so good and such a good logo that how is not everyone in the world aware of that? Like they need to do a better job. It raises this to an elite logo. And I thought it was a trash can for like 8 years.
Wow. I could absolutely see it. You could do so much with that in a broadcast or in a lead up to that event. Showing what's going on, you zoom out, going straight up, and then you have the outline, and then WM in the middle, and there's your logo. Oh,
I know.
That's well done.
Yeah, well, they should tell somebody about it. Looking at the key stats and the types of golfers that have generally had success here, Greg. I'll pull up the list, but I want to kind of just read off some names of past champions and see. I don't know if we can find any through lines. So we've got Scotty Scheffler back-to-back, Brooks Koepka, Webb Simpson, Ricky Fowler, Gary Woodland, Hideki, Brooks again. This is ball strikers, baby.
Yes. And specifically iron players.
Yes.
Right. These guys are flushers with the irons. And even if you look at some of their stats where they ranked heading into the event, or where they ranked for the year in their win, mm-hmm. Brooks Koepka was one of the outside guys when he won for the first time.
Yes.
But you look at what he had the ability to do even at that time, and that was lead the field any week in strokes gained approach.
Yeah, I think he was like 65th or something that year. And,
right.
But that 2015 Brooks winning here was the coming out party.
Yes. You see him a couple years later. I think he led the field at Erin Hills approaching the green. He did it at Bethpage Black. He did it all over the place, likely at Shinnecock as well. And that was really a staple and a strong point of his game. So it hadn't really surfaced in 2015. But with Hideki winning back-to-back, it does. With Scotty winning back-to-back, going for a three-peat, certainly live for that, it does. And that's why you've had some of these big names here. Gary Woodland certainly excels in that area of the game with his iron play. Ricky Fowler, probably over his career, isn't an elite iron player, but that year had some weather, some unique weather. Yeah. There was rain. It was kind of a bizarre year. So it's kind of understandable in that one as well.
Yeah, he was. Oh boy. Oh, I thought I had the stat handy. I was looking to see what his rank was that year.
I think it was in the 70s or something.
I think that sounds about right. Yeah, I'll take your word for it because it'll take me too long to find it. Okay. Let us start going through this board. We had a couple of big WDs earlier on Monday. One never made it into the DraftKings field, and one did. So we will have to address that. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
A game so big.
Super Bowl 58 is going to be absolutely epic.
One day of coverage just won't cut it.
It's on TV.
It's all things Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 58 Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
All week long.
You do not want to miss this.
On CBS Sports Network.
And we're back. Here is the cheat sheet on my website, rickrungood.com. We have now just two golfers in the $10,000 range. Scotty Scheffler at 11,600. Justin Thomas at 10,000. Xander Schauffele withdrew from this event. He was 10,400. Don't play him. And then Victor Hovland withdrew. Likely would have been in that 10K range, but he never even made it into the pricing. So it's just the pair at the top of the board, Greg.
Yes, and they're both very playable. They're both very deserving of being there. Oh, by the way, Ricky Fowler was 70th in the year that he won.
Thank you.
I checked that out. But Rick, this brings up one other conversation I wanted to have before we get into these players specifically.
Okay.
And that's what we've had so far this year when it comes to optimal lineups. And the guys near the top haven't necessarily been a part of that. I mean, last week, these optimal lineup constructions would seem crazy if we said, well, I'm going to start in the 8Ks this week, and I'm going to also play 3 6K guys. Mm-hmm. That would be insane. Yet that's exactly what we had last week. 9,000 flat was your highest price player in the optimal lineup. And then you had 3 6K guys and 2 7K guys. Low 7K. It's insane. Is this the week that it breaks and we get a big timer, a high price player to actually win?
Well, let's see. Last week, like you said, it was 43,100 was the optimal lineup, which means you would have created a ton of lineups before you got anywhere close to $50,000 in the optimal. The week prior was 44,700 with $8,500 Hideki Matsuyama being the most expensive thanks to the ace that he made on number 8 at Torrey Pine. So the year of the long shot that we have been in is not just extended to outright winners, but also we are getting some very strange and bizarre builds, which I don't know what that says, Greg. Does it say that the tour is very deep? Does it say we're bad at predicting this and the pricing's way off? What's the takeaway?
Yeah, are scores arbitrary, or have we just misjudged some of the new up and comers?
Maybe
like Matthew Pavon coming up and Nikolai Højgaard. Maybe he's just been undervalued so far, and Dietrich seems like he's been undervalued so far. I think those are all possibilities, but ultimately the pricing is simply arbitrary. And I guess the big question is, do you allow any of that to affect your builds going forward, or do you build the way we always build and just think that it's going to balance out at some point? Like, what do you do in that case?
So I guess the good thing is, so I love the idea of the optimals, right? I think the goal should be to make the best possible lineup under $50,000. The reality of it is that if you're entering these contests on DraftKings or FanDuel or anywhere, there's a really big difference between the optimal lineups and the winning lineups, right? So the first, on a week like last week, the first 2,000 optimal lineups might not have been entered anywhere because they were so out of control. They left $6,000, $7,000 on the table. So like last week, you didn't necessarily need to put in the optimal lineup or anything close to it to win and to find success. So I guess that's part one. So that leads me to thinking, you don't have to be the optimal. You just have to be better than everyone else. And we kind of already know what everyone's doing. Yes, being optimal would obviously be great because you'd win everything, but you don't have to be in those situations.
That's a very good point.
Long story short, I'm generally going to build the same way. Now, I do often leave. I'm happy to leave $2,000-$3,000 on the table. Rarely do I leave $6,000 on the table. That would be quite rare. But I'm happy to leave $2,000 or $3,000. So I kind of live where I'm at. The other thing about TPC, to get us back to TPC Scottsdale, this is a very sticky course history. Like very sticky. One of the stickiest on the PGA Tour. It's not Augusta National, but it's in that like second tier. So good, bad, high price, low price. I'm gonna get a lot of guys with some decent experience around here.
Yes, it's definitely. Normally it might be a tiebreaker. You look at it, and if you find someone you really like, and then you look at the course history and it's not good, to maybe, yeah, but he's a different player now. Or you kind of can justify that. But here it is, and it's rather important, and you could almost start there, and then see what you can find. Now it gets really interesting with guys with very limited experience. I'm not afraid of one missed cut. He's played it once and missed the cut. You know, Scotty Scheffler missed his first cut here too. We'll go through that as we go here. But with someone like Scotty Scheffler and Justin Thomas, they have phenomenal course history. They both have it's a great course fit because their iron play is so good over a long period of time and a short period of time. I mean, Scotty Scheffler's hitting over 90% of his greens this year in 2024. Over 90%. Justin Thomas is second in greens of regulation. He's hitting like 83%. So it just tells you how good they've been. And when that's what the golf course is calling for, one of these two guys has to be in your lineup. And I don't necessarily care which one.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. One of these two needs to be in your lineup. I think I agree. They are both. Scotty Scheffler punted away like 3 strokes putting in one round last week, and they only played 3 rounds, and he finished 6th. Huge problem for everybody, and he's obviously phenomenal here. Justin Thomas, I was just showing his profile. We have documented this week in and week out of what Justin Thomas is up to. Really good course fit, really good course history. I also do think there's a pretty sharp drop off. You know, the 9K range has a lot of question marks. Yes, there are golfers with, I think 9K is very volatile. You're going to get some missed cuts. You're going to get some guys running deep into this. And I think there's a pretty big drop off. I agree with you. You should probably be building heavily around one of these guys in every one of your lineups.
Yes. I mean, Justin Thomas's scoring average, this doesn't include the third round at Pebble. So I did this the last 18 rounds on Friday night, and his scoring average was 67 and change, 67.61 or something like that. And his highest round was 72. His highest finish since the Wyndham, since he nearly chipped in. I mean, everything has been a top 5 finish for him, or I suppose top 6. He finished right. What Justin Thomas finished T6 at Pebble Beach.
Correct. He did.
So everything has been top 6 since then. Just awesome stuff. And it's also a very similar profile. A very similar profile to that of Scotty Scheffler.
Justin Thomas, last 6 trips to Phoenix, no worse than T17. 4 of them are inside the top 8. 3 of them are 4th or better. So yeah, and he kind of putts well here.
And he kind of loves what this tournament is. The way the fans get going and everything crazy. It's kind of like another sport. He loves that. And you're right, Rick. I mean, he's had a tournament where he gained over 7.5 strokes putting here. One where no, that's not it. I'm sorry. I'm clicking all over the place here like a madman.
As you should be. This is the sicko show. Just click around and see if you can break something.
So there are 4 events where he's lost strokes putting here.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
And there's 4 in which he's gained like a ton.
Yeah. Over 2.5. Over 2.5.
Yeah, exactly. So one of Scotty or JT, probably doesn't matter which one. The 9K range is filled with a lot more question marks. Max Homa, Sam Burns, Jordan Spieth, Matt Fitzpatrick, Sung J M. And then we rounded out with Cam Young, Sahith Theegala, and last week's winner, Wyndham Clark. You've got some sporadic course history in Sam Burns, couple of decent finishes, couple of missed cuts. Jordan Spieth has 2 top 10s in his last 3 trips. Sung Jae hasn't played well in his last 2. Like, Cam Young hasn't played well in a while. Like, what are we doing here?
All right. Let's start right up here at the top with Jordan Spieth.
Okay.
I like what Jordan's been doing. I'm a little concerned. I was a little like, why does Jordan want to get away from his pre-shot routine all the time? I don't understand that. But he still hit it really well at Pebble Beach, hit a ton of greens in regulation. It feels like he's got control of the golf ball off the tee. I really like where he is. And he comes to another golf course that he's contended at, a place that when he first came here back in 2015 and 2017, he had 2 top 10 finishes. And then this was kind of an event that got him back in 2021, right? With a T4 finish there, a T6 finish in 2023, last year. I really like Jordan on this golf course. And I think in this 9K range, let's take Wyndham Clark out of it. He's playing the best, in my opinion. And especially with the irons. Maybe Sam Burns is playing the best, but
I like Sam Burns a little more, but both of these guys always worry me a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spieth might go full Spieth and Burns might just not make any putts. And then it's kind of over for him. It's kind of weird, which is why I think this is the range that either wins or loses you all the money, because if you get it right, I think that's a good place to be. What about Wyndham Clark? This is a really weird situation. You mentioned it. He had 1 good round last week. Now that round was insanely good. He gained like 9 strokes to the field. It was a top 3 round of the year across the globe. He did not have to play under the pressure really, except for that of shooting a 59. And he looks to be hitting it a lot better now than he was at the end of 2023. This is where I saw him last year in person and was like, wow, I'm really impressed with Wyndham Clark. But like, what's the state now?
There were a lot of questions about it. And I wonder if the live conversation was affecting him and affecting his performance. But the last 2 weeks at the American Express and at Pebble, he's gained strokes approaching the green. He has 1 top 10 in this event. It was last year. And again, this is when you saw him, Rick. We were starting to document and understand the improvement that he made with his iron play.
Correct. Yep.
Now, it hasn't been great. It's a little concerning. And the 2 events where he has gained strokes has been with not every round counting, right? 2 rounds in each of those of data. So it's a little concerning to me. I generally am probably a no.
Okay.
I just don't think the play has been as good. He shot 60. He made 150 feet of putts on the front 9. It was an insane round, and it's not repeatable. And I don't think he's been that good other than that 1 round. So, and now he's just won, and it's like a whirlwind. So I'm kind of in the no camp on Wyndham Clark.
That's the top and the bottom portion of this range. The guys in the middle, Matt Fitzpatrick did not play well last week. Sung J M has gone miscut and then is 66th. Cam Young, as mentioned, seems a little bit lost. Is there anybody in the middle there that you'd feel comfortable with?
Theegala.
Okay.
He's probably not in the middle. He's 9,100. But I think I can take a chance on Theegala. I seem to always get him wrong, but he has 2 starts here. He has a T3 and a T39, and he hit it really bad in the T39 with his irons. But I think his iron play has gotten a lot more consistent. It hasn't been electric, but you're still talking about 5 of his last 6 events. He's gained strokes approaching the green. He can be one of the best putters on tour. So I do think Theegala is worth a chance. And all these guys you're taking a chance on, literally all of them, whether it's Burns or Spieth or Wyndham Clark or Fitzpatrick or Sungjae or Cam Young, you're taking a chance. They don't have all the questions answered, but I feel the most strongly about Spieth and Theegala in this range.
Okay, let's continue this conversation because there's a lot more names in the 8K range and below. If we are going to get one of JT and Scotty Scheffler in a ton of lineups, we're going to need to find some value. We will do that after a quick word from our partners.
Caught by Kelce for the touchdown.
The 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl.
The champs are still in it, headed to Vegas.
And we're back with the 8K range. JT Poston at the top, along with Benny On and Minwoo Lee. You get Eric Cole, Hideki in the middle, Adam Hadwin, Bo Hostler down at the bottom, amongst a few other names. So this is a little more palatable, maybe because there's still question marks, but they're cheaper question marks here, Greg?
Yes. I also think there's some players in this range who are answering the specific questions that we're looking at this week. Ben On would be a great starting place. He's been hitting the ball so well lately. And if you look at Ben On's history here, there's only been, five starts here, and he's hit the ball really well here traditionally, but he's struggled on the greens, at least the last 3 starts where he has a T53, a T9, and a T20. He gained 4.28 strokes in 2017 and finished 6th. So he has a good record here. But when I look at what Ben On has done lately, he's gained over a shot and a half in each of his last 3 events. And the success with the putter goes back even beyond that, well into last year. So I'm looking at someone like Ben On as a real attractive place here at 8,800.
Okay, so I'm going to do some reciprocation here. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. You locked in your one and done on the Monday show. I will tell you, I have put Ben On in for my one and done this week.
There you go. That's a phenomenal play.
I have to remind everyone and myself that this is not a $20 million purse. And Ben has been great in the categories that I want him to be. A lot of improvement. He's got high finishes. I, of course, know he shoulda, woulda, coulda won the Sony Open if he makes a 4-footer, but he's putting himself in that position a lot, and I would take a T2 from him right now.
Yes, please sign me up. And I would in DraftKings as well, or any fantasy golf situation. So you'll love Ben On this week. He honestly makes it hard to play JT Poston.
What do you think? Okay, because JT's been, again, we've documented this ad nauseum, where he's got all these, top 15 finishes. Oh, the horror, he finishes T20 last week in a 54-hole event. How do you think that he sets up well for TPC Scottsdale?
Well, he's got 3 top 26 finishes in 5 starts here. Missed the cut last year when it was then a designated event. So he's played pretty well here, but he's kind of a better player. He's a better player now than he has been in the past. So you could look at this record and say, hey, this is a pretty good record, right? These are really good performances for JT Poston at the time the event happens. So I think it's a good golf course for him. He doesn't have a ton of length off the tee, and it's not a huge deal here. So I think it sets up really nice for him. I just love Ben on this week. That's all.
That's all. That's okay. Okay. So outside of Benny on, the rest of this 8K range has some interesting options. Would you consider someone at a different price point?
Yes, I'd consider Eric Cole.
Okay. Nice bounce back.
Strongly. Is it even a bounce back? The miscut at the Farmers that's as obvious as it gets.
It was so predictable. Right?
And it's beautiful that it happened because it takes all the attention, all the pressure away. Hopefully all the ownership goes away and we're done with Eric Cole. But he's not done. Nothing's changed.
Eric Cole missed the cut at the absolute worst course in the golf world for him. And other than that, just finishes inside the top 15.
And he does it all with his iron play and some of it with his putting. Although he's showing he doesn't need that putter quite as much as he used to. So this is perfect for him. Yes, Eric Cole. If I could get Eric Cole and Ben on in the same lineup with Scotty Scheffler, like I'm all over that.
I might have to add that up and see what that comes out to be. Okay. Just for documentation purposes, past champion, very popular Ricky Fowler is obviously in the field this week. And Greg, I'm at red alert.
Yeah, and that's well said, given the color coordination of your website.
He had people foaming. Okay. So I think I've probably bet against in a single round Ricky Fowler once in like the last 5 months. And it was round 1 last week when he was out of control and had everybody foaming at the mouth. He gained 3 1/3 strokes to the field. He was in the mix. He then just punted. Okay. He lost over 4.5 strokes putting in 2 rounds. He drops from being in contention to T47 over the next 36. The stat profile is you need sunglasses with how bright red it is. This is very, very concerning stuff.
I'll tell you what happened through the first 27 holes last week. Ricky Fowler was 8 under and bogey free. He's on the 10th hole at Pebble Beach, drives it into the fairway bunker close to the lip. Now there's the ocean on the right-hand side. So it's understandable. He can't reach the green. He hits it short in the fairway. Okay. Understandable again. It's a great shot. He chips it to 3 feet 2 inches. He 3 putts.
I saw it. Okay. I didn't know that's how he got there. I saw him 3 putt from 3 feet 2 inches, and he just tries to ram them all in.
He made double. He was never seen from. I don't know if he made another birdie. He disappeared. He didn't make another birdie the rest of that day. I don't know what happened in round 3, but clearly it wasn't good, and it was derailed by. I mean, he should have been in contention. Right? He should have been right up there after 2 rounds. So, Rick, I'm not playing Ricky.
He did make 4 birdies in round 3, which is almost more concerning because that means he made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bogeys.
I'll be late on him.
I need to see something. Some sign of life.
It's concerning and frustrating. And look who else you got here. You got Hideki Matsuyama, who's had a good record here. I'm probably more likely to play Adam Scott, who's kind of got an interesting profile going here.
Does, yeah, because he's got some Euro stuff that is pretty exciting as well. He had those 3. So Pebble Beach is the first time he's played on the PGA Tour in 2024, and his 3 starts before that were European Tour starts, and they were all really good.
Yeah. I mean, and Bermuda, right? Bermuda was a T5, the Australian Open a T4, Dubai Desert Classic, T7, T20 at Pebble, gaining strokes approaching the green in all of those that are measured.
Yep.
And that even goes back to the Wyndham. He's driving it well. Adam Scott looks like he's striking the ball like Adam Scott, which is kind of exciting because he's made some improvements with the putter. Although I wouldn't call the putter hot right now or cold. It's hard to know, but I think he's very playable this week.
Played here once 2 years ago, finished T38. So a surprising this has got to be. He's been on the tour for like 20 years, and this has got to be the event he's played the fewest amount of times.
Yeah, especially because there's so much. I guess it just doesn't fit his style.
So much hoopla.
There's so much hoopla. And he must just say, I don't really need that. I don't know if the logo can handle me.
Yes.
If I'm out there, people are going to go nuts.
He is way too sophisticated to be amongst the people.
Yeah. And way too cool, way too good looking. They won't know. They're not going to know what to do with Adam Scott out there. But he's going to be in my lineups.
That's why Adam Scott is much better at the more refined the Riviera Club.
Yes. It's just right where he belongs.
$7,000 range. Alex Noren, Siwoo Kim, Akshay Bhatia, Brian Harmon at the top. Daniel Berger's back in the field. Middle is your Keith Mitchell, Brendan Todd area. And then the bottom of the 7K range, that belongs to Svensson, Ekrode, Ben Griffin, and a few others. So this is kind of entering the value territory where we're going to have to find some guys to play.
Yes, but I think there's actually some win equity in this range.
Interesting.
And I actually love the $7,000 range. I love, there's a bunch of guys in here that I really like.
Okay.
So I mentioned win equity. I'll go first to the guy at 7,200 that I think can win this golf tournament.
Wait. I think I know who it is. And if it is, I completely agree with you.
Has he won a designated event before?
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to say Kurt Kitayama, right?
Yes.
100% in.
Yes.
I've already bet him. I got
okay. All right.
I got him at either 80 or 90. I got him at. And I think
sign me up. Look at this.
There are better numbers out there. And I just clicked the first one I could find.
Look at this profile.
Yep.
Now you're seeing, this is a clear, we love talking about this kind of stuff, but it's almost like a Steven Yeager. Well, okay. He's gaining off the tee every week. It's a much shorter period of time than what Yeager was doing earlier. But gaining off the tee every week, gaining approach the green every week, gaining ball striking every week, pretty good around the greens too. But the finishes are T24, T29, T39, T16. They're kind of so-so. But in this case, we have a very clear reason why the finishes aren't matching up to the ball striking. And he's been losing strokes putting every single week. Mm-hmm. Now, the players that we talked about earlier, Rick, that have won here, while we highlighted their abilities with their iron play, the other side of the coin is they are, with the exception of Webb Simpson and Ricky Fowler, pretty terrible putters.
Yes. If you added Kurt Kitayama's name to that list, everyone would be like, yeah, exactly. Makes perfect sense.
Fits right in.
Yeah.
One start here. Last year, T23, gained 3 strokes putting.
That was a signature event.
Gained in every category.
Okay, so because I do like the round by round stuff. I'm looking through the stats, all that. And I swear every time, every round I click like, okay, let's see who led the field in approach this week or this round. Kitayama's name is up there. He is just, I see his name constantly. He is a super high upside guy and he's a bulldog when he gets into it. I think this is probably one of the better. He's a desert golf guy. Like he's a Vegas guy.
Right.
This is too good. It's too good. He'll miss the cut, but it's too good.
No, don't even go there. I got another desert guy for you.
Okay.
A Sun Devil in this range.
Okay.
Also fits the mold pretty perfectly and has been playing very well lately. You got it, Kevin. You. Okay, I mean, this is perfect setup.
Yeah.
He's a great driver of the ball, always has been. His iron play lately, 2 of his last 3 events, he's gained over 4 strokes approaching the green. That's yielded a T3 and a T6 finish 2 of his last 3 starts. The putter was really bad at Pebble Beach, been okay before that. Coming into this should be a perfect setup for him, right? I mean, I could see him being a staple here at this event, even though he's never played it.
Yeah. I mean, if we are buying into this team no putt, elite ball striking, especially the second shot, yes, it makes perfect sense. How much did we say he was? Oh,
73.
7,300. So we have started this 7K range with $72 and $7,300. That's pretty good.
Would you like someone at 7,400?
Sure. Let's keep going.
This is more of a question. I don't feel as adamantly about this player at 7,400, but he's very curious to me. I never play him. Christian Bezuidenhout.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Mark Hubbard. Okay.
No, I'm not going Mark Hubbard.
All right. Let's see what Bez is up to these days. T20 last week.
He came in second at the American Express, third at the Alfred Dunhill Links back in, what was that, in December.
Mm-hmm.
Four events in a row, 5 of 6 gaining strokes approaching the green.
Yep.
Been
finishes as well.
Really solid with the putter. He doesn't have a record here. He's got 1 start. He missed the cut last year, missed it badly. But I feel like Christian is playing some great golf right now.
Yeah, this is interesting because he used to be very reliant on the putter. And it doesn't feel like he is as much anymore. You know, you were mentioning the gains, and I think they're really green now, but this has been a pretty nice turnaround. I'm shocked at how good that profile is.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, like I said, he's one of those guys you can just look past.
Yeah.
Because you don't feel like there's any real upside or win equity. But, you know, consider last year who was in the mix here. That was so unexpected was Nick Taylor. You know, and I see some similarities there. So I'm kind of excited about that one.
There will be, there has been a couple of guys like Nick Taylor was in this for a while. Wyndham Clark, before he became Wyndham Clark, was in this for a while. And we were like, oh man, this is kind of curious. So there's obviously going to be some other guys who are in the mix. And Bez has been playing great golf all over the world.
I got more in this range.
Fire away.
Michael Kim.
Ooh.
Look what this guy's been up to. It's been awesome. Now, part of me is just, I just love Michael Kim because he went through so much, and it's so cool to see him back to where he's actually, playing golf, not like a laughing stock anymore. But what he's done with his iron play over the last 5 weeks has been awesome. I know he likes to draw the ball, which can lead to some success here. There have been some drawers to the golf ball in the mix. You had a T6 at the American Express, also in the desert. You've had some reasonable finishes and very consistent play. So I'm a fan of Michael Kim too.
So since he had the 4 straight missed cuts, 5th, 18th, 41st, 23rd, 42nd, 6th, 37th, no, that's not true. But 2 of his 3 best finishes in that stretch were pure desert golf courses.
Yeah. Could be something there. I'm not saying he's a desert fox, but I really like what he's done with his ball striking lately. Speaking of which, we can't leave this range without talking about Tom Hoge.
Okay.
This is where win equity comes in. I think Tom Hoge, what is he at? 76? No, he's not.
What's your price, Tom? He is 73.
73. Yeah, these are all low. I mean, the optimal is going to be 6-7K guys.
Could you imagine?
Oh man, just save the tape, Troy. Save the tape. But Tom Hoagie's starting to look like Tom Hoagie again, where the iron play is kind of getting hot every week.
Dude, it's so weird. You could have given me 100 guesses at where Tom Hoagie finished last week, and I never would have said T6. You know, obviously it was a 54-hole event, so it was weird, and we didn't like it wasn't the same process, but I don't remember seeing a single shot that he hit. The metrics are awesome. He's putted well in his last 3. I do not remember him finishing T6 at all.
Yeah, he shot back-to-back rounds of 66 at Pebble Beach and a 71 at Spyglass.
Yeah.
So I saw him hit some shots and looked at his stats. I'm just like, okay, yeah. Here's Tom Hoagie back at it again. And he's got a pretty good record here, too. I mean, he's missed 3 cuts in 6 tries. He has a T14 in 2022, a T25 in 2020, a T44 in 19. Sign me up.
And there's a 4-year stretch where he gained 3.6, 4.62, and 3.8 strokes putting.
Fire.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, there are your guys in this range with Kitayama, with Hoagie, and I would even throw Kevin Yu in there. That is real. Those guys could win this golf tournament, and they're $7,300, $7,400, $7,200.
Okay. I'm gonna. This is the guy. So I just clicked it. Last week, Wyndham Clark was kind of weird. Most places had him at 80 to 90, but you could have gotten him some places at 100 to 1 last week. So we've had kind of like 5 winners of 100 to 1 or longer. Tom Hoagie, 110 to 1. There it is. The year of the long shot, 6 in a row.
6 in a row. Oh man.
Could you imagine?
Scotty's going to three-peat.
But
he'll be in our lineup anyway.
That's right. Or Justin Thomas.
Oh yeah.
The $6,000 range. Okay, so it starts with Davis Thompson, Jake Knapp, KH Lee, Matt Wallace. Middle of the range, Villegas, Shelton, McNeely. Bottom of the range, Bud Cauley, back in action. JB Holmes still getting stars. And Ben Taylor. Let me start at the top here because I want to point something out to you, Greg, that I have rarely seen. And it's from Jake.
Okay.
Jake Knapp. Last time we saw him was the Farmers. Rounds 2, 3, and 4. Those were the 3 rounds that he played at the South Course, the measured side. He gained off the tee, approach, around the green, and putting in round 2. He did the same thing in round 3. He did the same thing in round 4. There have only been, so he has now the record, tied for the record for most rounds of gaining across the board in 2024. Eric Cole's done it 3 times. Jake Knapp has done it 3 times. And Ben On has done it 3 times. Okay. None of them have ever done it in consecutive rounds. Eric Cole did it in 3 different tournaments. He did it in 3 straight rounds.
Whew.
It's like the only guy to do it in 2 straight. He did it in 3 straight. It's almost impossible.
So, what's his price?
69.
Okay.
He's right at the top.
Right. He's right up there at the top because you got a T3 out of him. All right. So are you in? Is this the real deal?
I don't know.
I mean, in all the PGA Tour events he's played, aside from that week at Torrey Pines, record setting, his best finish is 70th.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I mean, he's also, 12 of his last 15 events have been Korn Ferry Tour events, and he's piling up top 10 finishes there. No, I do not think that he is going to gain, 3 strokes around for the rest of his life, like Tiger Woods. But I just think if he's found something, if he's in the moment, here we go.
Okay. Jake Knapp.
Jake Knapp.
I got another guy right at the top.
Okay.
Who I know you like for the year. And if you're still holding on to him in your season long, I think this could be a good week for Davis Thompson.
Yeah, I'm still hanging on.
I think it's worth hanging on because he's put together some really good stuff approaching the green.
I agree.
Which is exciting. You look at what he's done here. He has one start, one miscut in a designated event. I feel like this is actually a pretty strong profile for a guy in the 6K range, who's too good to, not really show up in any of these events. He does have a T21 at the American Express. I think you're going to get a lot more out of him this week.
I hope so, because you're right. He is making those gains, and they're good enough results. They're fine results. I mean, the miscut at the Farmers was his first miscut since the 3M Open.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're right.
It's fine. But give me that T9, right? Give me that T9 at $6,900, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean, he could. Yeah, I'm not going to say anymore. T9 would be great.
He's not gonna win.
It would be great.
Yeah,
and I think he's a legitimate contender.
What else you got?
Nate Lashley.
How about that? A little bit of resurgence from Nate Lashley.
Yeah. T3 at the Farmers. Did really well on the greens. Missed 3 cuts before that in a row, but it had a lot to do with the putting. Some really bad putting in those missed cuts. Been driving it pretty well. And I think if I remember correctly, he has a T3 here in 2020. A T3, he has a T17 and 21, a miscut, and a T61. Yeah, seems like things are trending in the right direction.
He made the cut here and finished T61 despite losing 5 strokes putting, which is, probably not super likely to happen again. I agree. He's another guy that I just keep seeing his name and I'm like, oh man, he's like still hanging around and playing better than I thought he would.
We got to get out of the 6,900. Everybody's been 6,900 so far.
Yeah, I thought there was somebody who I liked.
A couple more. You like Grayson Sigg?
Probably more than a lot of these other guys. Yeah. I'll pull up his profile. He's pretty good.
Yep. You're talking about 5 in a row, gaining, approaching the green. He came and tied 17th at the American Express. Gained nearly 8 strokes putting. But hitting the ball really well. Could be a good spot for him. So he caught my attention at 6,700. One start here, T57. So he made the cut last year.
I thought I had a guy down here. Maybe I don't have a guy down here.
Justin Lauer, maybe?
I don't know who I was thinking of. But
Scott Stallings?
Oh, it was Scott Stallings. Yeah, because I saw him on the range at Farmers, and I was looking at his profile.
Yeah.
He's been all right. Couple top 25s, I think, here recently, or top Phoenix Open top 25s. So he finished T25 in at Torrey, and then his last 2 trips here, each of the last 2 years, were 23rd and 22nd. He's got 3 top 25s in his last 5 trips to this event. He was the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And 3 in a row, gaining strokes approaching the green, which we like.
And get really
putted really well at Farmers.
Really, yeah, but that's not like, so he gained 7 strokes putting at the Farmers. Well, he gained 9 at Sanderson Farms. He's like capable. That's twice in his last 6 or 7 starts. He's capable of doing that.
Sanderson Farms wasn't long ago either.
I know.
It feels like it is, but all of a sudden you add a couple of other really good finishes in there and it looks really good for Scott Stallings. So he's probably underpriced at 6,700. I think that's all I really got.
Yeah, I think that's all I got too.
Justin Lauer was as low as I would go, but it feels like a stretch.
Bud Cauley's back.
Yep.
Good to
Love
see.
Bud Cauley.
Yep. Good to see.
I played with him before.
Yeah, you told us that. It was like real easy 67 or something he shot.
Yeah. He beat me by 10. It was so hard and I remember thinking, okay, I played pretty well on a tough day. He beat me by 10. And if we played 4 rounds, right? This is no cut. I get 4 rounds. He beats me by 40.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do anything. And if you could look at the stock price, like Bud Cauley could have shot way lower, and I could have shot way higher.
That's wild, isn't it?
It just, and then all of a sudden, like I was hitting it with right there with him. We're hitting same clubs on par threes. We're like, he's smoking me, but I could play with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of a sudden on the last 2 holes, he just hits it 50 by me.
Yeah, he's got another gear.
Yeah, it's okay. So he was just kind of getting back from the boys' trip in the Bahamas, shaking off the rust.
Right.
It was incredible.
He was being nice to old Greggy.
Yeah, being nice. I don't think I had anything to do with it, but all of a sudden he just unleashes. It's like, wait, you're Bud Cauley, not
right.
Not,
what are you doing?
Not John Daly. What happened?
That's so sick. All right. Well, listen, we are going to, so the way this is going to work. So Tuesday, obviously tomorrow, we will spend a little time recapping the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Then we will turn our attention to Phoenix because we did not get a proper recap episode. Then we'll be back Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for round by round recap episodes. Our one and done picks will be revealed on Tuesday. Yours are due at the first tee time. Link is in the description, all that stuff. I don't think I'm missing anything, Greg.
I think we covered a lot of guys tonight. It's good stuff.
Okay. Big thanks, producer Troy. Does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg DuCharme available at The Real GFD. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.